This is Solomon Castillo from James Madison High School here with 20 Minutes with a Pro. Today we're interviewing a filmmaker, Dave Sims. How you doing today?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And so can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? It doesn't have to be work related, just any like hobbies or family or pets, just stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I have a 15-year-old dog who during the brisk winter days is always like, come on, especially working from home now. It's I'm from London originally. I started I'll go into my career trajectory. That seems to be the easiest kind of thing for me to do. I started making videos when I was 11. This is back with the camcorders. I'm in my 40s now, so I've been doing it for some time.
Quite a bit, huh?
Yeah, quite a long time. I went to film school in London in the 90s, and that was right before everything kind of switched over to digital. So I actually learned how to edit with razor blades and tape and like old school way of doing it, which was really cool. Like using these old machines from the 40s and 50s, and then after that I moved into digital, and I moved back to San Antonio and started making films. I've made about 5 feature films.
Wow.
A couple of them straight to DVD back in the day, but most of them really low budget, like me and like 2 or 3 other people, like real small productions, but just being creative and putting ourselves out there and just wearing all the hats from all the filmmaking hats you can wear, and just kind of doing it all ourselves. Like that was a great thing about film school for me, was like it was real hands-on experience.
Of course.
It was like an old banana warehouse in Covent Garden in the middle of London, where basically there's hundreds of productions going on. You could just jump in on any role and you just learn so much, and it's like really the best way to learn how to do it is just by
doing it.
By doing it, yeah. There's some theory, but it was very little theory. The only thing I realized in hindsight after going to film school and I started working in the business and raising the money to make movies was I wish I would have had like some business background, like some business courses. And so whenever somebody asks me now, like, what should I do? I always say study film, but minor in business,
Yeah, just to kind of have those two together. They go well in hand, I guess.
They go well hand in hand. Yeah, you kind of need the business side. It's like, yeah, you can be equipped to make a film, but then you like, what do I do? How do I do that? How do I put together a business plan or approach investors or, any of the business side of it? And I spent like quite a lot of years afterwards trying to just polish that side of it, And so I eventually moved into the corporate world. I worked at Rackspace, a local company here, a local tech company, and did lots and lots of cool, fun videos for them. Traveled all over the world. They had offices all over the world, so it was really a great experience to work at a corporation like that. That was like they were willing to kind of give me a lot of freedom to tell their story, and just kind of be aligned with them on a mission, but just kind of run around and be creative, which was really lucky to find a job like that where you can be creative.
You said you got to travel a lot?
Yeah, I did travel a lot with Rackspace. They had offices in Hong Kong and in Amsterdam and London. I was in London a lot, which was great. And I do travel a lot. Like my wife and I, she's a partner with me on my business. Before the pandemic, we were going to like 2 or 3 countries a year.
Oh, dang.
Like year before last, we went to Nepal and Vietnam and Thailand and just trying to see as much of the world as we can, because I think it's so good for the soul and the brain to like expand and see more and experience as many cultures and people and types of ways of living and being that you can. I think it's really a crucial thing that one can do to be a good human.
Oh, you've been tons of places. So what does a typical day as a filmmaker look like?
Well, now I've worked, I've kind of transitioned full time right now into doing like corporate storytelling. Mm-hmm. So for me right now, like a day looks like like today we're working on a request for a proposal for a big client. So I'm helping on that a little bit. My wife's mainly doing that. I'm editing 2 different videos kind of at the same time for different clients. And then tonight I have a shoot for Tech Fuel, which is kind of a local tech competition where they're giving away like $100,000 to a people are going to do pitches for. So any day's different, but mostly like right now, I've been editing. Usually I go shoot a lot. Like over the course of a week, I'll go shoot a bunch of projects, and then I'll spend a lot of time just editing, and then kind of try to find balance in that, between the shooting and the editing.
Oh yeah. Are there a lot of challenges that come with filmmaking that you have to face or overcome?
I'd say so. I'd say like with COVID has been really interesting, right? Because for a long time, people weren't really comfortable going on location. And so like I have a client, Facebook, where I work with our hardware engineering team, but we do almost 95% of the shoots so far have been virtual,
Oh,
and so that's been really interesting to adjust to that, But as far as challenges as a filmmaker, I would say the biggest challenge as a filmmaker is you start with this idea, right, in your brain, and it's like, oh, this grand idea.
Oh, yeah.
And then you put it down on paper, it kind of scales it down a little bit. It's like, okay, what can I really pull off? What's realistic? And then when you get on set and you start working with the rest of the crew and the actors, and then just kind of having to evolve with the idea as it becomes more of a reality, right?
Yeah, it changes a lot over time, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I think being adjustable and being able to run with the punches there is important.
Yeah. And are you the first in your family to kind of go down this path as a filmmaker? I know you mentioned your wife, but is there anyone else in your family that's been a filmmaker?
No, nobody.
No, just you? All
yeah,
right.
we have a lot of musicians, but no filmmakers.
Musicians?
Yeah.
I see the piano in the back. You play?
Yeah, I definitely play as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
My dad just got a piano. He used to play back in the day, so he just got one. He's trying to
right.
But yeah.
It's good to have around, right? It's a good outlet.
Good instrument, yeah. So what made you realize that this was the type of work you wanted to do, and when did you realize that?
I learned really early on. I just kind of stumbled upon claymation. I really liked. I was like 11 years old. I was really fortunate to know that early, that young. That's really what I wanted to do. And I started by doing claymations, and I'd spend the whole night, end up making like a 6-second commercial, 6-second video, little clay figures. I did that all through middle school, and then I started recruiting my friends and running around in the woods and making little short videos. And I was just really fortunate that it's something that I've always known I've wanted to do, and it's always just been my passion, And I feel I'm very grateful to get to do what I love every day, and I think if you can find that in life, right, and find something you enjoy and you love doing, it just doesn't feel like work. Like I have to charge people for this. I can't just do this for free because I love doing this.
Yeah, you got to make that money.
Yeah, you got to make it money. Yeah.
I know you mentioned school and stuff, but can you go more into detail about schooling for filmmaking?
Sure. Well, I went to Churchill High School here in San Antonio, and then I had the opportunity to go to school in California or in London. And I was originally born in London, and I was always wanted to go back there. And I figured I liked the European style of filmmaking, so I wanted to work with a lot of Europeans and collaborate with a lot of Europeans, and so that's why I went to the London Film School, and it was basically like a six-term school, so it was 2 years, and every term you do a different thing, like a different type of project. Like one term you do a documentary, one term you do like a black and white film and shot on 35 millimeter, and you build the sets, and you have to kind of decide between the schoolmates. You have to recruit people to work on your film on different roles, and you'd write it, and and kind of just, it was like a little studio system. There was 3 studios within this old banana warehouse in the middle of London.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
So here at Madison, we're a bunch of AV nerds. We're a bunch of camera nerds and all that. So I see the big camera in the back. What type of camera is that?
It's actually a Z cam. I just recently got it. Yeah, I was just getting it ready for a shoot this evening. But it's kind of like, they call it like a mini red. So it shoots 6K. It's from Hong Kong. It's just a little bit lower on the price range, but it's a really cool camera. Actually, I've only had 2 shoots with it so far, and I'm pretty agnostic though. I have Sonys and Canons and Panasonics. I mean, I shoot on anything and everything. What do you guys use there?
Me personally, I have a Canon 6D Mark II, and then here I think we have the Sony Alpha 7 something. I don't remember the
Yeah.
name. I know more of the Canon stuff. I don't know much
Yeah.
about Sony or Nikon. What type of lens you got on that camera?
Right now, it's a Canon. I always use Canon lenses.
Nice.
I
Yeah, I
have
like
I
Canon
used to shoot
glass.
Canon for years. I shot Canon cameras, and so I still use their lenses. So whenever I even use Panasonic, I'll get a lens mount, so I can use Canon lenses because I just think they're so nice. So
Nice.
this one's the 24 to 70. The
All
2.0.
right. All right. Okay. Yeah, very nice lens there.
Yeah, thanks.
And then also, so since there's a bunch of students here that love this filmmaking or photography here, is there anything you would advise us? Maybe any tips or tricks to kind of get to a similar position?
Man, I would say you all are really blessed in the sense that like when I started, there really wasn't as much access to the technology as there is now. Like you all have 4K cameras that are probably more easily accessible to you, and the editing equipment. And so I would just say, go out and do it. Recruit your friends.
Yeah.
Just go out and just be active and just do it and do it and do it. And also, I would definitely suggest internships as well, because I think that's really important for any career, really, to like kind of get a taste of what it's really like, before you start to just spend the years studying that in college or something. You really get a sense of like that's something you're passionate about and want to do.
What qualities would you say make a really good filmmaker?
Persistence. It's a tough industry. It's
Oh yeah, you gotta hustle.
you got to hustle. It's competitive. It takes a long time. I've done films where it's taken me 7 years to raise the money to make a tiny little independent film. So
Yeah.
you have to really believe in yourself, and I never had a backup plan. Like there was never a plan B for me. I mean, I'm not moving into like doing corporate work. I still try to use the same creativity, and I would shoot stuff for a client the same way I would shoot a film for myself. And I still do shoot films like once, I'll do a short film once a year usually. And just because it's easier when you're working so much just to do a short, but yeah, it's just perseverance. I think it's the ultimate.
Just keep creating. Yeah.
Yeah, keep creating. Yeah.
What is one or two things that you really enjoy about your job?
I love the variety of work I do now. That we have our own business. Like just today alone, I'll work on everything from a company that does pre-coated metals that can, like, in St. Louis and in Florida, to working on some projects with Facebook, to doing tech fuel. It's just like all kinds of projects I get to work on. At any given time, I have like 4 or 5 different clients in 4 or 5 different industries. And although I do kind of specialize in tech here locally after being at Rackspace, I do love the variety of the work and meeting people and getting aligned in line with their mission and feeling like I'm a part of a team with somebody. And it's just really amazing to like go into a company and kind of feel like you become part of that company for that short amount of time that you're making a video for them, and really just kind of, yeah, that buy-in, that mission, buying in, that I think that's the most exciting part for me personally.
Yeah. Is there one or two things that you don't enjoy about your job?
I don't really like writing the proposals and doing that's, but no, I don't. I would say not really. I mean, when it comes to the creative side of it, I love every aspect of it, and I that's why I do most of it myself. Like I shoot, I edit, I direct. I mean, on bigger productions, I'll bring in more crew, but there's really not any part of the process that I don't like.
Well, that's good. I mean, you love everything about your job. That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Oh yeah. And if there's something very surprising about your job, something that most people don't realize, like that's what a filmmaker does, what do you think that would be?
It's like my partner and I joke about it a lot because everyone from the outside thinks it's so glamorous, but it's really like it's a lot of work, that goes into creating a film. Even a short film can take a lot. It's a lot of work and a lot of time and effort, and and it's not always as glamorous as people think from the outside, you know.
Yeah. Do you have any interesting stories as your time as a filmmaker that you
Yeah,
would
you know, it's funny. I was
hearing?
Yeah, when I was in California for a few years working. I lived in San Diego, and I was working a lot with like the Mark Wahlberg Youth Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went up there one time to a celebrity golf tournament. There's all, I mean, this was like in the late 2000s, and there was all kinds of celebrities from this big entourage was really popular on HBO then. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Goodfellas or Casino or any of those big gangster movies with like, you know, Joe Pesci, the actor.
No, I'm not very familiar with any of those movies, but
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Because Joe Pesci is famous in those movies for playing like a really mean gangster, and I ended up filming him while he was eating dinner, and he got really upset. And he's like he's not a big guy, but he came over to me and like he really intimidated, you know, really intimidated me, like grabbed me by my neck and said, "I can't believe you." Because he was like picking his teeth with the toothpick, and if you've seen Goodfellas, you'd know exactly like what kind of intimidation I'm talking about. But yeah, it probably is R-rated, so it may not. You guys might not.
Yeah.
I can use a different example though. I one time when I was at Rackspace, I was able to go to CERN, which is in Switzerland, which is the Large Hadron Collider, where they're spinning the particles around to try to find.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, that was really cool.
Wow. Yeah, you have a lot of cool experiences as your time as a filmmaker.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, I try to combine travel and film and two passions together, and I've done a lot of cool stuff, and it's been an exciting ride so far.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Here now, my final question now.
Okay.
You could be anything. I mean, anything else. Is there anything that you would want to be that's different than this, or do you think you got your dream job right here?
Honestly, I do think it's my dream job.
So
Yeah, I've never really even contemplated any other.
anything else?
No. When I was a tiny little kid, I thought, oh, it'd be cool to be like a detective, you know. But beyond that, it was like that was when I was really, really young, like 5 or 6 years old. Since I was 11, this is what I wanted to do, and I've just been really fortunate enough to have had that kind of focus and that passion, and just kind of been following it, and will continue to follow it. I don't think I'll ever change careers.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Then you got your dream job right there.
Right? Yeah.